Hi friends, good evening. Online students, please type yes, that you can see me and hear me all right. And let us close our eyes for a moment. How many of us have started revising for paper 1? Because you'll be none? Really? Then paper 1 I'm asking. Paper 2 I'm assuming you are doing alongside. But how many of you, because you'll be having a paper 1 full test also? None really? God, yeah. Okay. In the last lecture we had discussed the reservation policy. Yeah. Akash, Bete, tell me 2 key arguments against reservation for OBCs.
It will compromise the merit. It compromises on the merit.
Sorry?
Hello.
It compromises on merit.
It compromises merit. And another. Very good.
And because of this, the efficiency in the administration will be compromised, and because of which
administrative efficiency will be compromised. Great. Pass on the mic to somebody or give it to Akash. Bete, give me 2 key arguments against reservations. Sorry, in favor of reservations now.
Sir, how do we gauge merit? Merit is a function of not just the individual's capacity, but also his cultural and social capital.
Wonderful. Online students, can you hear the student? This is a little experiment. Can you hear the students' comments? Please type yes if you can. Yes, great. So we are successful. We'll carry forward this experiment. So one is, you said that
the merit is a function of...
The merit is not just about individual effort and intelligence, but also a function of one's social environmental background. Pass on. और बताइए, another argument in favor of reservation.
So it is not against efficiency because
it is not, does not compromise efficiency. ठीक है. Name 2 scholars. Pass on. Give it to him. Just give it to him. Tell me, brother, 2 scholars whom you can mention in favor of caste-based reservation. Speak in the mic.
SS
Jodhka. Very good. Pass on to your neighbor. Satish Deshpande. What does Deshpande say? पढ़ के बोलोगे तो क्या बोले? अभी इतनी देर में सिर्फ नाम ही पढ़ा.
Sir, according to Satish Deshpande, in the contemporary world, they are even under benefit.
हाँ, they are contemporarily also facing discrimination. Great. Pass on. Give it to him. मतलब. Bitia. Tell me 2 scholars who you can quote against caste-based reservation.
Sir, sorry, I've not revised today.
Pass it on to your neighbor.
Not revised.
Not revised. In case any of you have to say that, then you say your name and say, I have not revised. हाँ बेटे.
IP Desai, sir.
IP Desai. हाँ, so it's either scholar's name or yours. Okay, good. You can quote Desai. Pass it on. Sorry? Not revised.
Absent, sir.
Absent.
B.K. Roy Burman.
B.K. Roy Burman, what did he say?
He said that Mandal Commission report is not taking into account scientific evidences.
ठीक है, it is not based on scientific analysis. Great. लीजिए. Name any two Indian feminist scholars. Any two. Any two. That's such a wide canvas. Don't buy time. When I'm saying any two, I mean any two. Pass it on.
Kamla Bhasin.
Be a bit louder, please, into the mic.
Kamla Bhasin.
Kamla Bhasin, very good and very handy, bluntly. You can quote her anywhere. है ना? Pass on. एक और.
Not able to recall, sir.
Fill in the blanks. Uma. कौन बोला चक्रवर्ती? कौन बोला? हाँ, पास इनको करो. You tell me the name of some. नहीं, इनको. Some Marxist feminists. Not necessarily Indian. Any.
Sir, Nivedita Menon.
Okay, she's in that genre, but she's not like a, thoroughbred Marxist. She's like on these margins Marxist. कि लगे हाथ Marxist भी हैं थोड़ी बहुत. हाँ? Hardcore Marxist scholars. We would have studied in paper 1. Pass on then. Marxist feminist. Marxist feminist. Okay, I'll give you a hint. Something to do with Archie's comics. One of the characters in Archie's. Yes, Veronica. Veronica Beachy. Very good. Pass on. Tell me two scholars who talk about the prevalence of caste and casteism in contemporary Indian society. We've studied pass on. Any studies we can quote to highlight contemporary caste-based discrimination? Padho.
Sir, Ambedkar.
Ambedkar, clever, but not too contemporary, na? आज के टाइम में. पीछे पलटने से पन्ने क्या होगा? पास ऑन. आगे. हाँ. Any contemporary scholars who talk about casteism or studies which highlight casteism? Suraj Yengde, very good. His book?
Dalitism, something like that.
Caste Matters is one of the popular books. Dalitality करके भी उन्होंने लिखा है. ठीक है. Great. चलो. अब चलते हैं जीवन में आगे मतलब staying with reservation, but discussing some other dimensions of it. Give a subheading. What? Reservation, we are not done just yet. Let us complete the topic and then take up any questions we have remaining still. ठीक? क्या कह रहे थे हम? Problems with the concept of creamy layer. Problems with the concept of creamy layer. We all understand what the concept of creamy layer is. A quick reiteration. In the Indira Sahni judgment, in which the Supreme Court had upheld caste-based reservation for OBCs, the implementation of caste-based reservation for OBCs on the basis of Mandal recommendations. In that judgment, the Supreme Court had chalked out this concept of creamy layer, which is applicable to OBCs reservation. What it means, that those persons who are privileged or advanced within the backward classes, they are identified as the creamy layer. The privileged or advanced persons within the backward classes. They are considered as creamy layer and therefore excluded from the ambit of reservation. Matlab they cannot avail reservation. That's creamy layer for you. This was in the Indira Sahni judgment, right? And criteria have been laid down to identify the creamy layer. For example, if your family income is beyond a certain threshold, presently it is at 8 lakhs per annum, okay, then you will be excluded from reservation benefits. Or if your parents are class 1 officers, they'll be excluded from, you will be excluded from reservation benefits. समझ गए? ऐसे करके the cream या privileged sections from within the backward classes have been identified. Simply, what it means practically, say you belong, the caste to which you belong is listed as an OBC in the OBC list. OBC list, by the way, is separate maintained by the central government and separately by the state governments. So say your caste name, say you belong to X community, let us say Yadavs, is listed in the list of OBCs by the central government. So you can avail OBC reservation, but if your family income is 20 lakhs, then you cannot, because you are then creamy layer. ठीक? This is what it practically means. बढ़िया चीज है. The intent is that the reservation benefits should flow to the really deserving or needy. Now, what are the problems with this concept of creamy layer? One, friends, is violation. So there is a flagrant violation of the creamy layer concept. Simply, my income may be 30 lakhs, but I'll show it as 5 lakhs. Yes or no? To avail, so that my children can avail reservation benefits. So one problem is that there is widespread violation of the creamy layer guidelines. Dhanyavad bhaiya. And then related to it is, how do you prevent these violations? How do you ensure that the creamy layer concept is implemented in letter and in spirit? How do you prevent the violation of the creamy layer concept? Another problem with this creamy layer concept is, another problem is definitional. Definitional in the sense, friends, how rich or how advanced is advanced enough to be considered as, being deserving of being deprived of reservation benefit. Who will you regard as advanced enough so as to be deprived the benefits of reservation? Critics argue it is somewhat arbitrary. And very importantly, friends, and the courts have had to reiterate this several times, that advancement for identifying creamy layer should not be seen only in monetary or economic terms. There's a tendency that we consider that those with money in the OBC castes are creamy layer. But it's not just about your monetary muscle. Why? It is socially, educationally and economically advanced. So that tendency has to be resisted, to equate advancement only with wealth. In identifying the creamy layer, there is a tendency to equate advancement with financial status. Full stop. However, in its true spirit, the creamy layer has to be socially, educationally, and economically advanced. Theek? For example, I was reading one of the court judgments, one of the high court judgments, where the court had posed this question. For instance, with this example, that if, say, there is a son of a carpenter, okay, and carpentry or the carpenter caste in that state is a OBC caste. Now, that carpenter guy, he goes to the Middle East, where he starts earning pretty handsomely. Should his son then be denied the benefit of reservation as creamy layer? What is your take? ठीक ठाक पैसा कमा रहा है वो यूएई में एज कारपेंटर इलेक्ट्रिशियन जो भी करके गया है, and his financial situation has somewhat quite improved. Should that person be denied reservation benefits? That caste is OBC. If we say yes, we are making that mistake, equating advancement only with the economic well-being. So that family as a unit, they may be educationally deprived since generations. Are you with me? So it doesn't have to be only economic strength, but also social and educational advancement which has to be factored in. And the most important, question which has arisen as regards the creamy layer is whether the creamy layer criteria should be applied to SC/ST reservation. That is a major question today. As it stands, or as per the Indrasani judgment, the creamy layer criteria was only in the context of OBC reservation. But if you accept the logic of the creamy layer criteria, which is that, only when the privileged within the deprived sections are skimmed off, only then will the benefits really reach the truly deserving. Going by the same logic, what do you say? How many of you are in favor of applying the creamy layer exclusion criteria to SC/ST reservation? Raise your hands. Quite a few. Huh? Most of us. How many of us are against applying creamy layer criteria to SC/ST reservation? Please raise your hands. Why? Brother. But if certain individuals within those communities are pretty well off, साफ बात है कोई दूसरी टीना डाबी ना हो. Huh? Meera Kumar. Her father was the Prime Minister. She herself later on became, the Speaker, Lok Sabha Speaker. She was a Minister. She became IFS. तो ये काहे के deprived? Huh? Yes. Okay. Others? Yes. Yes. Why are you having differential standards for SC/STs and OBCs? Huh. So you are saying SC/ST elites should not be deprived of reservation benefits because the SC/ST poor are being helped through scholarships, etc. So they are not really taking anything away from the SC/ST poor. Huh? That is all right. But do you concede we should have creamy layer amongst the OBCs? Okay, so OBC ki condition is separate, he is saying, from the SC/STs. Brother? These? Absolutely. So, the current socio-political consensus is that we should not have creamy layer criteria for SC/STs by and large. Reasons being that centuries of discrimination and exclusion cannot be undone within a couple of generations. Right? And very importantly, if creamy layer is introduced amongst SC/STs, then possibly there will be very, their participation in the politico-administrative space, in the educational sphere will fall down. In other words, the non-creamy SC/STs simply may not be able to make the cut. So even if we have to allow the SC/ST elites to take up these jobs, we should. समझ रहे हैं आप? उनका पार्टिसिपेशन फॉल हो जाएगा. For example, in the case of OBCs, a lot of times in public recruitment, what is happening is government agencies and departments are flouting the constitutionally or the legally mandated reservations. Frequently, they are writing on files, no suitable candidate found. Since the system is largely dominated by the upper castes. Okay? So overall, it is considered that SC/STs are not at that level of development as communities, that the creamy layer criteria be introduced. उनका जो elite stratum है वो अभी भी बहुत small है, और जो बाकी सेक्शन, बाकी पॉपुलेशन है वो मच पिछड़ी है. However, the Supreme Court, no less, has upheld or stated that the creamy layer criteria should be applied in SC/ST reservation for promotions. For promotions of SC/STs in Jarnail Singh case, in 2018. That the creamy layer amongst SC/STs should be excluded from reservation benefits in promotion. ठीक? चलिए, moving on, staying with reservations, but a new type of reservations, which is EWS reservations. नहीं, जर्नैल सिंह केस में द सुप्रीम कोर्ट हेल्ड क्रीमी लेयर amongst SC/STs should be applied in matters of promotion. ठीक है, नहीं मिलना चाहिए रिजर्वेशन बेनिफिट, नहीं प्रमोशन नहीं, रिजर्वेशन बेनिफिट इन प्रमोशन नहीं मिलना चाहिए. ठीक है, एंट्री में नहीं, एंट्री में नहीं है क्रीमी लेयर, प्रमोशन में है. चलिए, EWS reservation. Now this was introduced by Moody ji by the 103rd Constitutional Amendment Act 2019. What are EWS? The term stands for economically weaker sections. Who are eligible for reservation under EWS? Those who are non-SC, non-ST, non-OBC. In other words, what we call general category. दो criteria हैं, non-SC, non-ST, non-OBC. And secondly, family income should be below 8 lakhs per annum. ठीक है, इसके अलावा there are some criteria to exclude certain persons based on wealth, if not or not just income. So those who have more than 5 acres of agricultural land, और मैं भेज दूंगा टेलीग्राम ग्रुप में just to give you a sense, or who own a residential plot of 100 square yards or 200 square yards within or outside municipal limits. समझ रहे हैं आप? Or who have 1,000 square feet odd or more sized flat, उनको नहीं माना जाएगा. Others are considered or can avail reservation benefits under this category. हाँ? So ये basically forward caste या general category candidates हो गए जो economically weak हैं. Now this 103rd Constitutional Amendment inserted articles, 16 तो बचपन से है. Yes, Article 15 Clause 6 and Article 16 Clause 6 in the Constitution. Making possible reservations in education and public employment for the EWS. ठीक है? How much? 10% reservation is envisaged for the EWS. Education or public employment. This is what it is. Now let's come to our analysis. How many of us who were against caste-based OBC reservation support or are in favor of EWS reservation? Raise your hands. तो ये क्या दोगलापन है? समझाइए. How do you justify your support to EWS reservation if you are decidedly against caste-based reservation? बताइए, raise your hands. Yes, why? Brother? Yes? Why? Sorry? तो वो तो ओबीसीज में भी है, क्रीमी लेयर हटा दिया. Guys, will you just give me 2 minutes? I need to make an urgent call. Huh? Just. Friends, we'll have to discontinue today's lecture. Okay, say there's some personal thing which I have to attend to. So, and whether we'll have a lecture tomorrow or not, it will be communicated in the Telegram channel. Sorry, somebody elderly in the family is become very unwell. So that's the thing. Chalo, thank you, beta. Huh? Thank you for understanding.